All right, Rishi, I want to talk about an extremely underutilized and very uncommon way to probably increase the second most important metric for an e-commerce, which is average order value and revenue per user. And this is something that is very, very popular in the internet marketing space. And when I talk about internet marketing, I'm referring to maybe like 10 years ago type of internet marketers that were selling kind of like digital products, masterminds, coaching classes and that kind of audience. For them, it's like super, super common, right? Like this is what I'm about to say is very, very common, but somehow for e-commerce, in the e-commerce industry, this is not very common. And what I'm talking about is one-click upsells, okay? So the way to explain one-click upsells is actually very simple. So generally speaking, the classic type of upsell that you see on an e-commerce is usually either on a product page. So if you're buying a Casper mattress, they're also going to sell you the sheets or the pillow, right? Or in the cart. I've seen a lot of e-commerce that have recommended products type of upsell if they are considered upsells. I think there's few apps on Shopify apps that allow you to add an upsell or a cross-sell on the checkout as well, right? Problem with that is that all this type of upsells and cross-sells offers, they live within the site before the user converts. So what happens, and this is something I've tested in the past, sometimes when you push AOV a little bit too much, when you push a cross-sell or an upsell way too much, that it puts people off and kind of like impacts negatively conversion rate. The cool thing about one-click upsell is that the upsell lives on the actual, there's like a middle page between buy now page on the last step of the checkout and the thank you page. So the transaction has gone through already. So the user has already bought the product that they wanted to buy. And then in the middle, again, between the buy now button page and the thank you page, there's a middleman page, which is the one-click upsell page. And the cool thing about this is that this is like, depending on what app you're using, this is basically a fully customizable type of landing page. And for a copywriter like yourself, you can write all the copy you want. You can create all the video scripts you want. So it's very, very well versed for conversion rate optimization, but specifically for copywriting purposes. And the main, I would say 2-3 main benefits of this is obviously the user has already gone through the transaction, so there's like no risk of putting friction in front of the user because they already bought the product, right? The second thing is that it replaces the thank you page completely because there's that middle man type of page. And obviously, the main goal is to increase AOV. So even if the take on that page is low, let's say like 10-20%, it still has a significant impact on AOV, obviously depending on how many transactions you have. Have you seen, and the reason why I say that it's underutilized is that I try to shop online a lot for different reasons, like to buy stuff besides Amazon, obviously. And I can't remember the last time that I've seen a one-click upsell offer or cross-sell offer, on a website. Have you ever seen something like this before?
It's a good point. I have not seen many examples of this outside of some supplement brands that I don't know if I even work with them directly, but where I've kind of seen their funnels and I've seen that they have the one-click upsells. But no, I've not seen I've not seen many examples of this.
Yeah, because obviously, like in the Shopify ecosystem, there's a couple of apps that allow you to achieve this, to build a middle page between the buy now and the thank you page. For example, Zipify is one of them, or Carthook. But even like other platforms, I check them out, and yeah, like one-click upsell is present even like on other kind of like
Yeah.
CMS, e-commerce, CMS. And if you're a custom, if you have a custom CMS, that's even like, kind of like less friction type of thing, because you don't need to, like, you can build it yourself basically, right?
Yeah. I
Um,
think there are a couple of things to consider when it comes to the upsell. One is that it is you don't want something where there's a lot of research that's required for the user, like they have to go through reviews and they have to understand what the product does, because there's no room for that. The other one is that it needs to the most frictionless way of doing that is to pair your primary purchase with the product in a way where it's a no-brainer for them to do it. So one great example would be that if you are selling a air purifying unit, one-click upsell could be, here are 5 more filters. You're going to have to buy filters anyway, and you can now just buy them with your. That becomes much easier. If it's something that requires the reader to say, well, let me understand what this product is. The filter, of course, is self understood. Also, they don't need to read the reviews. They've already bought the
yeah.
product. So I think you have to be strategic about how you want to do it.
Yeah, and another way that I've seen working quite well, I have a close friend of mine is the CEO and founder of, 9-figure e-commerce business. And one of the things that they've used to scale the business heavily was one-click upsell. But instead of pushing like another product, they just would push in more quantities. So if you bought one quantity of, I don't know, this is obviously for consumable products, right? I'm not talking about I don't know, the Dyson Hoover. But if you bought like a supplement, or, dog food, or, even like jewelry, for example, buy more quantities of the same product has worked very well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think yeah, it's a interesting. It's you are right. I've never almost never seen it. Um, Outside of these, there are some industries that use it very extensively,
Yeah.
and I think and everyone else doesn't use it. So, information products, they do a lot of one-click upsells. And, there's a lot of, like, old school kind of things where they've used it a lot. So I don't know why we don't, but I think that's an opportunity. So the tools are already the great thing is that, Lorenzo, when you and I kind of got started, everything that we're talking about, when we would tell this to clients, they would actually, it was the biggest point of friction was they would actually have to code all of these things.
Yeah.
Today, there is a subscription based tool that you can use for one click upsells, and you can try it out for 3 months and see if it's working for you. So I
And
think it's so much easier.
Totally. And, going back to like the old school direct response, info product gurus, some of it, what they do is like, oh, you don't take the upsell, I'm gonna offer you a downsell. So
Sure.
now, have you, like, I've seen that, I was like, okay, this is like, I've seen like even like 4 or 5 offers one after the other. I'm like, okay, guys, this is a little bit too much.
I've seen, the downsells are actually quite effective as well. But again, I've never seen them when I'm shopping on my own outside, but I have seen them in concepts, and, I know that some supplement brands use it. So I think it's a very good idea. What I'm curious about is I want the listeners to actually drop a comment and let us know, have you considered this? Is there something that is holding you back from doing it? Is it
Mm-hmm.
because you don't have a product that's a good supplement for your upsell? Like, what is holding you back? We'd love to know, because we'd love to do a future episode where we can take your responses and actually discuss this further. So I want our whole series needs to be an ongoing discussion between us and our audience. So please leave
Yep.
us a comment, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. We will see you again with yet another episode. Take care.
Thank you.